This immediately struck me as unjust and, what's more, unscientific. The article called for a volunteer to carry out an objective study into the well-being of children in lesbian mother families, something that had never been done before. I had been searching for a subject for my master's dissertation and felt that it was cruel to break up these families, especially in the absence of any evidence against them. So, I responded to the call for help, offering my services as a fledgling researcher. Little did I know that this would be the start of a research project that would continue for the rest of my working life. I got in touch with Action for Lesbian Parents, the group of women mentioned in the article who were dedicated to publicizing the unfairness of the legal system and were looking for researchers to investigate children growing up in lesbian mother families. A woman called Bernie Humphreys answered my call and invited me to come to her home in Cambridge, where the group was based. Bernie's house was a large, gray-stoned Victorian villa with children's drawings on the walls inside. I was nervous throughout the meeting. The women in the group were all mothers, which seemed terribly grown up to my 22-year-old self, and some were involved in fierce child custody disputes with their ex-husbands. They understandably wanted to make sure that I could be trusted to carry out an independent study, and were especially concerned that I did not hold preconceived ideas about lesbian mother families. They asked me about my background and questioned me in great detail about how I would conduct the research. Some of the women were researchers themselves and gave me a tough grilling, but somehow I passed their test, and they agreed to put me in touch with organizations that could help me find families who were willing to take part. Many years later, I moved to Cambridge to become the director of the university's Center for Family Research. Whenever I pass that gray stone house, I think of the drawings on the walls and wonder where those children are today. I also think about how the families in that house, who had to fight so hard for their existence, let alone acceptance, paved the way for many different types of families I could not even imagine in 1976. In the years since then, new reproductive technologies and evolving social norms have radically changed the ways that families are created and structured. The first IVF baby, Louise Brown, was born in 1978, soon followed by children conceived through egg and embryo donation. Sperm donation became much more common, and the first cases of commercial surrogacy, that of Baby M in the US and Baby Cotton in the UK, hit the headlines in the mid-1980s. Today, we have gay fathers with children born through surrogacy and egg donation, single mothers by choice, and lesbian couples sharing parenthood by using one woman's egg to create her partner's pregnancy. There is an increasing trend of much older mothers, a phenomenon that is likely to grow as a result of egg freezing technologies. And we face the prospect of synthetic eggs and sperm, artificial wombs, and children born with edited genes. Parenthood is becoming accessible in ways we could never have dreamed of just a few years ago. But what impact does this have on children? Like the judges presiding over lesbian mother custody disputes in the 1970s, many people base their opinions of these new families on assumptions and not evidence. It has always been assumed that the structure of families matters a great deal in child development. The greater the difference from the traditional family, the conventional wisdom goes, the greater the perceived risk of psychological harm to the child. This idea gained prominence in the 20th century, in part through Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory, and remained a cornerstone of later psychological theories. But is it really true? The results from our first study of lesbian mothers, published in 1983, suggested not. They showed clearly that these children were no more likely to experience psychological problems than children raised by heterosexual mothers, too late for many lesbian women who had already been separated from their children. I suspected this might also be the case for other new family forms, and I wanted to tease